All right, everybody. Ding, ding, ding. We are in the building once again, back again. This is how we do it. Ringside presents Corner Confessions. And y'all know me. This is Troy Vaughn, also known as Trey Amazing, your favorite part-time stripper, part-time megachurch pastor, but full-time dating commentator. And I am here with a real showstopper. I mean, she is one in a million. She is amazing. Her nickname is the Sho Stopper. I am here.
Period.
Period. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. I'm here with the one and only Miss Lady Syren. Did I get that right? Or
yes.
Syren or Siren?
Syren. You can say Syren. You can say Siren. It depends on what mood you're in when you say it.
I heard that. Okay, if I'm feeling extra southern, I'll say Syren.
Yes.
Okay, I ain't mad at that. No, this is actually I'm glad you decided to grace us with your presence. I've heard great things about you. We have a mutual friend in common from Punani Poets, Jessica Holt.
Jessica, I love her.
And she reached out to me and she said, Troy, you need to interview her. She'd be a great interview. And I was like, dope, I'm ready. You know, if we can get an interview and we can get some great content that is alignment with relationships, dating, marriage, sex, kink, fetish, whatever the case may be,
all the things I love to talk about and deal with every day.
Well, you need to subscribe to the channel because I got new content every week.
Yes.
So before we actually dive into why you're here, kind of give me just a brief introduction of who you are and what brought you here, what brought you to Atlanta, and what you're known for.
Okay, so let's start back about 10 years ago. Don't ever ask a woman her age because that will ruin the date. But 10 years ago, I was actually working as a Valley Total Fitness personal trainer. I was recently graduated from college. I have a degree in kinesiology and I have another degree in theater arts with a dance performance as my major. So I love the arts. And I got an offer to come to Georgia because I wanted to move up in the fitness world. Like later as we talk, we will find out a little bit more of that stuff. But I got a job offer and I was like, oh my God, I could go to Atlanta. I hear so much about Atlanta. It's the southern side of the world. California's so mixed up. So I was like, sure, I'll take the offer. And I actually moved here. It was me, my Mercedes, and my pit bull, Sheba, who is still here to this day. She's like 12. She's awesome. But moved here thinking I was going to help change the fitness world at Valley Total Fitness in Norcross. And within 2 weeks, I went in. Yes, guys, we're going to get this money. We're going to pay raise is going to go up. 2 weeks later, they closed. They filed bankrupt. There was no more Valleys. I was homeless. All I had was my dog and my car. And I needed something to do. I actually met a gentleman that introduced me to Atlanta. He said, you need to come to Atlanta. Like, the way you look, you're so pretty, you could take over. Like, and you're a talented dancer, you need to go to Atlanta. And so I never thought in a million years that I would be an exotic dancer. Like, I went to school, I have a degree, I was working on my fitness business, you know, like, I came from a family where my mom was 14, my dad was 18, and he used to be a pimp. So I kind of despised that street life because he would have me around it. And my mom moved me from Oklahoma, where I'm originally from, at 9 because of my father having me out with him, picking up women and watching the abuse of that. And we moved to California when I was about, I was 9 years old. So I didn't like that lifestyle. So I never thought, not that I judged it, that I would ever be an exotic dancer. Like, you normally do it the other way. You're stripping to pay for school. Not you're a graduate, you're in a I don't want to say too much about the organization, but you are involved with strong backgrounds and founders, and now you're in Atlanta busting it wide open. That didn't seem pleasing to me, and my family didn't approve of it. And now, so I kept it private, but I had nowhere to go. Bally's closed, and they didn't even give us our last paycheck. So he was like, you need to go to amateur night. And I went to Strokers for amateur night.
Shout out to Strokers.
Shout out to Strokers. They the one that got me started. I actually didn't even have dancer shoes. I literally had they called it. The girls in the back was like, ah, look at Shawty with the church shoes. That's what they said. And I was just
you
like,
had the church shoes?
I didn't know. Like, I had ballet shoes. I had jazz shoes. I had hip hop sneakers. So I was a dancer, trained dancer. So I didn't know. And, I didn't sound like anyone from the South. I didn't look like anyone from the South. So they wasn't really trying to help me. And I just went out there and I remember I had a bathing suit. Went out there in a bikini with some regular shoes on. But I could dance. I did point. And I came with fight. I came with tricks because before I moved to LA, I had a chance to work with people that did Zumanity in Vegas, and I learned some tricks and showmanship. Because I've always wanted to be in front of a crowd. Like, I love theater arts. That's my major. I love dancing. I love singing. I love acting. But things happen. Life happened. So I ended up performing and being an actor on the stage of pretty much every strip club in Atlanta and damn near across the world, because I brought everything I knew from training in theater arts to stripping. The only difference is now I don't have on my church shoes. I actually got 6 to 8 inch stilettos.
Hey, but them church shoes got you where
man, them church shoes is up on a pedestal. Listen, they got me my first $5,000. I'm so blessed with them church shoes, but I will never wear them again.
Hey, started at the church and now we're here.
Hey, period. And
Exactly.
They're still God is highly favored, and he's definitely deeply involved in every decision I make. Before I even went into the strip club, I would play a certain song called Fight For You by, I do believe his name, Malai Music, and that time he was a gospel singer. I would play gospel music on my way to the strip club to get my mind right so that I didn't turn to drugs or I didn't turn to alcohol, to just set my goal and just stay focused. So God is, if God could come down and be a woman,
She high-five you.
yes.
Well, that's actually a great segue into the topic today, because you've been in Atlanta. Anybody that knows anything about Atlanta knows that on every corner you can either find a mega church or a strip club. This is strip club capital. If you live here long enough, you're either going to know a stripper or exotic dancer, date one, or meet someone who has done that in their past. Now, one of the things that I've seen interviews, and I have women who are exotic dancers and entertainers and strippers in my group, and one of the things that is kind of constant, they talk about how it affects their dating lives, how once you're in that industry, how things change regarding the men they date, the men they're attracted to, or how to sustain healthy relationships while you're in that field. So I really wanted to take this opportunity and talk with you. And well, first and foremost, what are some dating stereotypes regarding exotic dancers that you've had to deal with when it comes to dating? Like, have you ever had to deal with people's stereotypes?
Yes, definitely. And so when I first started, I actually, like I said, had a gentleman, which was my boyfriend. He actually told me, like, hey, he said he was from Miami. Hey, shawty, you need to go to Atlanta and you could take over. And I was like, but I don't know how to twerk. I wasn't a twerker. I was very, hold your stomach in, chest up. Like, I was very trained. He said, that don't matter. Just do all your flexible stuff. Just do a split, bend over, pat your cat. Like, he gave me a whole
Pat your cat.
Pat your cat. He was like, he gave me a whole QR code on how to just get the money. Look him in the eye and pat your cat. You got to pat the cat. Like, you want this, don't you? And you pat it and then you wink. So that's how I used to start.
Y'all got all them the wink.
Yes, the wink gets them in. That's why I don't understand how, not to get off subject, I'll get back to that question, how women just be so easy to forget that we're in control, and you don't have to settle for, oh, if you want this money, then I'm going to need your number because we're going to have sex tonight. No, you're in this club to see me. All you got to do is pat and wink. That gets them. Like,
pat and wink. We
need to do like one-on-one learning lessons. But to answer your question, stereotypes is, oh, she must be a hoe, or you got to have a pimp, or, oh, let me guess, you going to school? Do you doing this for school? Or are you about to be open up which is not bad. Like, going to school and dancing for it is perfectly fine. But they always say, oh, let me guess, you must got a nigga at home. You probably got a lot of kids, or you actually are a finesser, or we really don't have emotions. We don't care. It's all about the money. I mean, well, yeah, sometimes it is true. If you give a girl your number, she probably will text you only when she's going to the strip club to work, because she's not interested in you outside of that. And you're fun in the club. Just like sometimes guys treat dancers like, well, we're not interested in making you our girlfriend, but you're fun in the bed.
You're the fun. You're bragging.
Right. You're bragging like, oh, yeah, that's who I'm taking down. So if you're going to brag about taking us down, why can't we just text you when it's time for you to bring us money in the club? And that's it. Like,
now, with that, do you think that with so many women dealing with that, do you think over time, the longer you stay in that industry, does it begin to affect your criteria in men, or does it even affect your impression and value of men in terms of, and the reason I ask because I've heard women say how you're in that industry and you constantly see married men, you see pastors, you see deacons, you see political figures, you see all these men, who during the day project this high moral ground,
right,
or supposed to be about character and integrity, but you see them in the club doing God
just
knows
as
what.
loose as a goose.
Right.
Just loose.
And I've actually seen where some women talk about how it makes them value men less or look at men in a different light. Do you see that, or have you ever experienced that with yourself or other, coworkers?
Yeah. In a sense, I mean, me personally, I've learned, because being that I come from a family where my father was a pimp, like in the 80s, I seen a man that demoralized women, that hit women, that made them go and work and bring him back the money, but they honored him and loved him and did whatever. And I've even been, as a 9-year-old little girl, riding around in a powder blue Mercedes. My daddy would have me roll down the window and say, "Excuse me, lady, do you want to call my daddy too?" Like, I would say things like, and they'll come over and they'll bend over. I was an assistant pimp. That's what it was. And now that is actually what kind of scarred me a little bit, because I was a man eater for years. Like, I trusted no man. I don't care if you gave me the world. I would ask for the ingredients and see you make it, because I don't believe it. But that's because if my father had me go through those things, it's like, if that's because my father had me go through those things, and it's like, what else or who else? Like, if my father could put me through that, then why would I trust any other man? Like, I'm not his own. I'm like, this is my father. Like, my daddy name was Big Rock. Like, he was a well-known pimp across the United States for years.
I've never even met your dad, but anybody named Big Rock is somebody I don't want to mess with.
And he's not even big. He's like, but his attitude, his personality was big. But my daddy was like an average 5'6" man, slim, Jerry curl, had all the rings on his finger, just with the gazelles on and the MGM print jack, the Versace, all the stuff that they're doing now. That's
the pimp starter kit.
Right, pimp starter kit with the big block phone, with the phone that came in the briefcase. That was my father. And it was something that I was like, well, that's not the man that I want, because I've seen it. But subconsciously, I got into dancing, and that's what I started to attract, and that's what I started to be attracted to, the fast money, the jewelry, because it was like, you go in, you only have $100, you leave in with $5,000 to $10,000. It's like, who would complain about that? But at the end of the night, you still end up by yourself or feeling alone. So you have to kind of step back and not try to get diluted with what reality is to fake, because inside of a strip club, it's a fantasy. My father he had two type of hoes. He had the hoes in the club that would sell a fantasy, and he had the hoes in the streets that would actually sell sex, and you had to keep those two separate. But nowadays, women don't do that. Everything is pretty much done in the club, or if he throw a few thousand, then you went home with them. So we kind of lose sight on what type of man we want or desire, or we feel like, oh, well, we could have to settle for that because this is what I see every day. And I've had to take a step back, because I even had myself in a situation where I married someone that I met in a strip club. And it was at the time I thought it was the right decision, because his mother was sick with cancer, and we wanted to just help her, and I felt so bad. And here's the Sheikah, that's the student that's educated, then it's the Sho Stopper, that's the dancer that sees the drug money, that sees the fashion. But he didn't tell me he was a drug dealer when I met him. He said he was a car salesman, and that just went over my head. But he got up every day, put a suit on, and he would have a backpack with him. And so I really believe that this man was who he said. And then one day it just came out that no, he's actually a drug dealer, and you have to make a decision. Do you still want to date this man because you get the fast money, he comes in the club and make it looks good on you, or do you really want to date the man that was just trying to make his way to own his own company? And I wanted the man that was opposite of what I was raised with, but the street man. And I gave him an option. I said, either you're going to keep selling drugs, your mother's gone now, you're going to either keep selling drugs or you are going to stop.
Straight life.
And I'm okay with working in a club and dancing and bring home money for us. I'm okay with if you want to go to Popeyes or McDonald's. I'm okay with that because, again, I didn't start in the strip club. I already had an education and went to school, and I knew that there was possibilities and purpose in life. And going to the club kind of clouded me a little bit, but I know what I wanted and I know what I didn't want to accept, especially if I wanted children. And it was tough because his money and my money together, we was living great. But then when he made a choice to not sell drugs and to, go to school and do what he needed to do, it was tough. Then his insecurity started to come in. Oh, well, now you met me in a strip club. You threw money on me in a strip club. You was fascinated at the fact that when you and your boys put I bet I could fuck her first. Oh, look at her. Oh, I bet I could fuck her first.
Became a competition then.
Right. So each day for about 2 weeks, different guys was coming in the club. I had no idea until he told me before we got married that we all had a bet. One dude even said, look, when you get off, meet me at the airport. We going out of the country. And I was like,
about to get flued out?
Right, I was about to get flued out, and I was like, now it's Sho Stopper. Sho Stopper would have went. But Sheikah, that's my actual government, she said no. So I did it. And I guess he liked that, and then we started dating. Things happened. A year later, we're married, and from there, it was just like hell on wheels. Because now that he's not bringing in all the money and into the street life like that, he started to assume that every guy I came across, I was having sex with. He would even during the day, I was a personal trainer and I was doing corrective exercise, massage therapy, and I work with professional athletes. I try to keep my life separate. I got 2 different IGs, 2 different Facebooks, 2 different websites. I got the Sho Stopper website, and then I have the She Could Be Fit website. I got the She Could Be Fit Instagram, and then I got the Sho Stopper Instagram. Because I try to keep things separate because, for one, I didn't want certain family members to know. And then I didn't want, my clients' wives or girlfriends to see this and say, oh, that's your therapist? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that can be problematic.
Right. So I try to keep
this. Definitely see that.
Exactly, because they're used to either heavy-set white therapists or Chinese. And it's so cliche that they don't think that a woman that looks like this can be straightforward into the books when it comes to therapy, and I really am. And so he started to call my clients. Are you fucking my wife? This man was giving me $8,000 a month to strictly do therapy after every game. No sex involved. Wife is in the room. No threesome. None of that. Just strict therapy. And you took that away from me. Or us. Because you didn't trust. There's no way. Ain't no nigga gonna give you just... Ain't no man gonna give you just $8,000 and he ain't fucking. I'm like, yes it is. If you're good at what you do.
And and that's... It's funny you mentioned that because that was one of the questions I was going to ask, because I really wanted to talk about... I wanted to ask you, from your experience, what are some of the pros and cons of dating a client, but that makes me think about something else. As an exotic dancer, as an entertainer, or whatever the case may be, even if a man isn't a client, and we, just like you talk about, he can meet you in the strip club or whatever the case may be, but if you met a man out, at Macy's or at the mall or out at the gas station, whatever the case may be, you film each other, you go on a few dates. As an exotic dancer, what needs to happen before you get to the point you tell him, look, this is what I do. This is what I actually work at this club. Because that can be a little off-putting to some men. Some men... Yeah, some men may celebrate and other men like, oh, really? Because again, just like I asked at the beginning as far as the stereotypes and the generalizations that a lot of us men... And I know, I've been here for 25 years. I know I've been guilty of it. I know I've definitely been guilty of it. You hear a woman as a dancer and it's like, oh, okay. It's like your whole brain switches up. So for the women out there and for the men watching this, if you are in that industry as a dancer, if you meet someone that you really like, how do you, kind of have that conversation? When do you sit down and say, look, this is what I do? And when you do tell them if they are experiencing some, uneasiness or anxiety, how do you, kind of calm someone about what you do? How do you date someone and let them know, look, it's okay, I'm not the stereotype, I'm not that evil or soulless person you think I am. How does that go about? I know that was like a two-part question, but
yes, it's so when it comes to being able to like show or prove to someone that you're not the stereotypical, oh, you're just a stripper, you just want me to come and throw money on you, you're callous, or you steal, because sometimes they think strippers steal money, whatever. For example, I met a guy, I was at a gas station.
Hey,
literally.
It's at a gas station.
It's at a gas station. I was at a gas station. I was filling up my car, and he walks up, and I'm on the phone with my best friend, and I'm like, girl, look at this man. He think I don't see him. And I'm acting like I don't see him. And I'm dressed down, pretty covered. It was probably like 12:30 at night. We had just left an event, so I was filling up my tank, and he said, can I do it for you? And normally I'll be on some, nope, I got it, because if I'm coming from a club, I probably got money on me, and I'm not about to be a victim. So I'll say, no, I got it. And I give him a real bad attitude. Don't be too friendly. Aww. So, and this time I was like, you know what? I'll just do it. So I let him pump my gas and I got back in the car just to be on the safe side. And he came to the window. We talked and he wanted my number. So I gave him my number and we talked and we chatted. But within like 2 days, it was like, let me eat your pussy.
Took a while, didn't it?
2 good days.
He hung in there.
Hung in there for 2 days and asked for it. And I was like, no, I don't even really know your real name. Like, we just met at the gas station. He was like,
unimportant.
That's not even important. And I was like, wow. So no, this is not what I want. But I say to say, like, I never told this guy that I was a dancer. And he already was like assuming, because of how I looked, that oh, you hopping out of Benz right now and you got that on, where you dance at? And I didn't even say nothing about dancing. And he started to just talk to me sexually, like sexualizing me right away. And there's been a case where a guy met me at the club, but when he found out that I own my own companies and I actually have a 3-year-old son that speaks 3 different languages and all these things, he was like, wait a minute.
He was like,
I want to apologize for coming at you like you were just a typical stripper, because you're more than that. Tell me more. So he was more intrigued about the girl outside the club than the girl in the club. But then it made it difficult for me, because now he don't want to come in the club and throw money. He want to meet me outside and go to dinner.
Damn.
I didn't want to go to dinner. It's like, so it's a thin line, because when you're just a dancer, guys treat you as such. Mm-hmm. They don't. It's like they don't care. They want to just fly you somewhere to have sex, pay you, and go about your day. But when they learn more about you, now it's like, okay, I don't want to. I'm gonna stop supporting you, but I want to like go have dinner, get to know you a little bit more, and then the money slow down. It's like, no, you can't change the flow of income. For me to be able to hang out with you was because you did this a couple of nights ago. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just because I want to hang out. And that's where you gotta kind of like, it's a thin line. It's really a thin line. You gotta know what you're there for, set a goal, and know what you want. Because if not, you're gonna find yourself being in a situation where you like a guy, but then you tell him you dance, and he like, I don't like dancers. Oh, you probably just a hoe, and he won't trust you. Then you don't like a guy, and he find out, he know you dance, and he find out that you got other stuff going on. Now he want to be your best friend. Mm. So I just say, ladies, listen, get a book, write down the man that you want in detail, and manifest them that way. Because the strip game will have you twisted and tied up.
Well, that's actually, that's actually the last question before we wrap this up. But before we go, everybody out there, if you're watching, make sure you go ahead and hit that bell. Follow this channel, so we can get some, you can be informed of all the new great content that I'm dropping every week. And most importantly, subscribe. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you can, drop some constructive comments. Don't be nasty, but go ahead and drop some comments. And if you're on Facebook, make sure you type into the search bar up top Ringside LLC. Find the private digital Facebook community, request to join, and either myself or one of the admins will admit you. Lady Syren, one last question, then I'm going to let you go.
Yes.
For the young ladies out there who will be watching this, who are thinking and contemplating and may have one toe into, being an exotic dancer or going to amateur night, but they still want to find their Prince Charming. They still want to date. They still want to have their healthy relationships, but for whatever reason, they need some money. They're going, and find it in the club. Mm-hmm. What advice would you impart on these women as far as, look, get your money, but in terms of, dating, how you date and finding love, do A, B, and C, or be on the lookout for X, Y, and Z. What would you say to the next generation of exotic dancers who are looking for love?
Honestly, I would say it may sound hard, but it's not. Try to keep things as simple as possible. Before you just want to say, oh, I want to dance because it's popular. There's P-Valley, there's different shows that's airing. Everyone wants to have a stripper or a pole dancer at their concert. Everyone wants to do that, yes. But before you do that, really break down what it is what's your outcome? Mm-hmm. Is it that you need it because you need to pay your bills? You want to start your own business? Have an outcome before you start dancing. Because it is something that can entangle you, and it could be an uplifting opportunity, and it could be a whirlwind spiraling down to just absolutely nothing. And you want to know what your outcome is, and just keep it simple. If you have a goal, okay, I want to make $100,000 this year. I'm going to go to this club every day, and I'm only going to go out on Sundays, or whatever it is. Stick to your goal and stay focused on that. And if you are in a situation where you want to find love, I don't want to say you can't find it in a club. Usher said he want to make love in a club, but I don't hear nothing about finding love in a club. But just know that it's going to be tough. It really is, because he's coming in the club because he's not happy outside somewhere. And you're there to make him happy inside the club. So your mind has to be right to know what's the possibility that he really is going to like me for me, or is it all sexual? And don't try to give up too much too soon. Don't try to give in too soon. Get to know the person. And if you see a red flag, literally let it be the red flag. Because not all money is good money. Yeah, like right. A lot of times these young girls are, like, I've never known so many young ladies to die or get murdered or robbed in this business in like the last couple of years. And I've lost friends that are, instead of living their dream, they're actually on true crime as a feature in regards to having a dream of being an actress or owning her own beauty salon, and the wrong guy made it seem so sweet, and it turned from sugar to shit so quick to now I have to visit my friends at a funeral home, like at a funeral, in the wake or in a cemetery, and it's sad because none of them were over the age of 32, young, and you just gotta just know what it is that you really want, and don't break. You can bend, but don't break. If you say you want a guy that treats you like this and don't call you out your name, and the moment he do, because you just nothing but a stripper bitch, deuces. You do not wait. Oh, well, he didn't mean it. He was just mad because I did come home late. Don't make no excuses. A man, my grandmother told me, a man will never hurt you. Hitting you is hurting you. A man will never do that. So if he's going to hit you or raise his hand and bucket you like he will, he's testing you to see. And you have to stand your ground. That don't mean be disrespectful and call him a bitch ass nigga or do all that. Stand your ground and let him know that you're worthy of praise regardless if you're a dancer or not. It's a job. It's not like, and we're acting. When I go in there, my name is not Sheikah. My name is the Sho Stopper. I am putting on a role, and I'm damn good at it. And I'm going to make sure they have the best time of their life. And that's just that. And then when I leave there, I take my clothes off. I go home. I wash up. And I become Sheikah. And because I'm so dominant in the strip club, as a dancer, you'll be dominant. You can tell them no or you can tell them yes. Don't touch me. When you go home, it's okay to be submissive to your man. You don't have to bring those roles from the strip club home unless your man wants you to dance for him. Then you can. But a lot of times that's what happened. We dance so much in the club that when it's time to go home and dance for our men, we be like, I'm tired. My feet hurt.
Well,
no.
You dancing for him, you can't dance for me.
Exactly. And that's the first thing a man's going to say. So even if it was a 2 little step and a little pat on the cat, that's simple. You got to be able to bend, ladies, and not break.
At least do the Cabbage Patch or
something.
Do the Roger Rabbit.
Anything.
Something.
You see what I'm saying? Cabbage Patch, do a split, pick it up, drop it down, and as you dancing, put your feet in his lap, and that man will start massaging your feet while you're dancing. You better put them legs up in the air and do one of these and say, baby, can you rub my feet? And watch what he gonna do. You just have to make sure you, again, know what it is you wanted out of it. Have an outcome. And you gotta be able to understand that you still gotta be, if you want that dream man, you gotta be a little submissive. You gotta, even if you might be tired and you dance all day for these other niggas, you know what I'm saying? As strangers, you got to be able to come home and do it for your man. And I swear, tell him, baby, if you want me to dance, why don't you go get a pole? Matter of fact, baby, stop by the store and get 100 ones. Matter of fact, tonight I'm gonna be your waitress. We going, like, you got to do things because you're doing it outside every day, and all he wants is just a little bit of that. Your boyfriend's not going to want to come to the club and see you busted wide open for another man. Yeah. Don't ever invite your boyfriend to your strip club. If it's your birthday party and whatever, okay, maybe. But other than that, don't. Because it never works out that way. The nigga that you might be messing with or the man you might be messing with on the side and y'all sneaking around, that's what it is. Don't take him serious. Because trust me, he's not taking you serious. And you should be able to, tell the difference. So I hope I was able to give you some type of advice so that you would stop trying to, make love in the club, just make some money in the club and, leave that love stuff at home. And, maybe one day you'll get a nice man. I'm still single and I finally accepted it and I'm okay with it.
Well, Sho Stopper, I think those words were biblical. I think that I have no doubt they're going to resonate because, again, after living here for 25 years and meeting women and knowing and a lot of what you say, I'm like, well, that is true. And your words really, were like holding up a mirror to me, like, yeah, I've done that. Because I know I've certainly been guilty of seeing women at the mall, extremely curvaceous, wearing designer clothes, getting out of a designer Range Rover. I'm thinking, okay, she gotta be
I ain't even gonna try to talk to her. You might not even know. She might just wanted to just, she might just was proud of her body and wanted to, show a little bit. But then she could be. So men too, y'all be careful. Because these ladies is cold, boy. Be careful.
Lastly, for the people out there watching this that want to get in contact with you, that want to support all your businesses and buy your merch and follow you on social media, or I know that you have a role on the very popular P Valley and BMF.
That was so exciting.
So for the people out there that want to see more of you, how can they find you?
Okay, thank you for asking. So, by day, I am a personal trainer and a massage therapist. I actually have a location here in Atlanta in the city of, it's in Georgia in the city of Buckhead, which is still considered Atlanta, even though
it's Atlanta.
Right, even though that girl said this is not Atlanta. It's Atlanta. We're just not even going to do all that, right? And you could actually follow that. I do everything from meal prepping to one-on-one personal training to corrective therapy to prenatal massages, like the whole works. It's called Self-Care with She Could Be Fit. And you could actually follow it on my Instagram is XICABEEFIT. She Could Be Fit. And that also is my website, XICABEEFIT. As far as the Sho Stopper, my Instagram for Sho Stopper is the Sho Stopper, THESHOSTOPPER. I have the website the same exact way, the Sho Stopper, and I have like merchandise for Sho Stopper. I have merchandise for She Could Be Fit. I have plethora of many things, but those are the two ways you can actually find me. I actually do work in between a Club Onyx when I am available to here in Atlanta, and Club Rain, which is also in Atlanta as well. But just follow me on there. You can see when I post where I'm going to be making appearances, where I have shows, and if I'm available for booking, whether it's to book me for entertainment part, or I'm doing right now was the P-Valley experience. So I can book anywhere across the world. If you have a dance studio and you got a group of women that want to come, or open it up to guys, because in P-Valley we do have Uncle Clifford's. So men, you are welcome to come as well. No judging, none of that. Keep that out the window, because it's 2022, and I'm not saying it got to be in your face, but just be mindful. So I'm doing what's now with my team at Vertical Joe's Fitness here in Atlanta, which is the home, which is the home of P-Valley. And that's who I train with my twerking, which I'm a national known twerk technician, and my pole dancing. They actually helped me become that Atlanta-based dancer versus the California strict to the ballet and modern. They was able to help me combine those two. So I love my girls for that. But we've came up with a program called the P-Valley Experience, where I could come. My character name on P-Valley is Throat Baby, because I'm known for...
Did you say Throat Baby?
Yes.
You know, real quick, I just had to put it out there. I just played that song for my girl like a few months ago. We were in the car and we played that song, Throat Baby, and she was like, "What is this?" She was like,
Now she's probably a Throat Baby too.
I'm sitting up there like, okay, she was... Yeah,
it's a little different. And when I looked at the script and it was like Throat Baby, I was like, they said, well, you're the one that we seen on World Star for T-Pain, and you're the one we seen on I did World Star. I was on TMZ when I did my balloon trick with Keke Palmer. I actually had her by her neck and I was choking her a little bit while I swallowed the balloon down. It was really, really great.
Sexy.
Yes, everyone loves it. So I say that to say, so we came up with a thing called P-Valley Experience. And so my character name is Throat Baby. So being that I am a part of P-Valley, I have been, given the right with stars and everything to do workshops or a class based on how to be a showstopper with the P-Valley Experience. Okay. AKA Throat Baby style. So if you want to book that, you can go through the Sho Stopper page, or you can go through the She Could Be page too if you want to be more discreet, because some people, if you're following Sho Stopper, it may be like, what are you following that for? Versus you following She Could Be Fit, it's like, oh, it's a Bible on the outside, but boy, oh boy, what's in the inside? The
secret is safe with us.
Yes, so that's a good way to follow me as well.
Well, everybody out there, we're going to have these links in the description. If you're watching this, go ahead and click down that arrow and you'll see these links, and you don't have to do any guessing. Just go ahead and click and it'll take you straight to her page, and you can find everything you need. Thank you so much. You have definitely been a showstopper. This has been Ringside Presents Corner Confessions. Everybody, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So important. Drop some comments, hit that bell, get all notifications because we drop in new content every mother flipping week. So stay tuned. Syren, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we are out.